So it was ruled like we asked all morning about this, and it still isn't very clear. I'm not sure what the official ruling is, so do not take this as a claim as to what the official ruling will be. But from what we were told, if you chain Book of Moon to the activation of a virtual world hand effect on a monster on the field, and you like Book of Moon the target, the monster in hand will not resolve with effect.
It does.
That is what I would personally rule as well.
Incredible.
No, what? Bruh, say cap. Come on, MST.
This is similar to, like, I guess a precedent rule for that would be kind of like checking for the attack stat of a monster.
No, it's not! Bro, okay, let me just debunk this right now, chat. Let me just debunk this right now, okay? Watch this. I'll explain this to you very simply. I'll make it so simple for you guys. So simple, okay? Scars in your hand, you can target a virtual card you control, summon a virtual card of a different type. Like, by that logic, okay, mind control. Mind control. Do you see this card, chat? Do you see this card? Do you see this card? Target a monster your opponent controls. It would appear as though a face-down monster is not a monster. You can't target with that. No, you can't target. You can't mind control a face-down. Coda, if the card is set by Book of Moon, isn't an area of private knowledge mean the card can't confirm that's a virtual world card? Okay. Let me demystify something. By that logic, so that I'll explain to you why that logic is flawed. Okay, I'll begin citing. I'm gonna cite in Alancia. Okay, watch. Let me explain something. Okay, I said Alancia in my back row. Are you allowed to MST it? It's a monster. It says, you can set this card from your hand to your spell trap zone as a spell. So no card that will be here, face down here, will be anything other than a monster. It will not be anything other than a monster. Can you call him his TTV? I don't know if Tombox has any means, I have any means of contacting him. Yo, I'll tweet at him right now. Okay, no, I'll DM him. But I'll DM him off cam. I'll DM him off cam. MST. Yu-Gi-Oh! Virtual World Lulu. I probably just get like the fandom page. I probably just pull up the fandom page, right? What's going on YouTube? This is your boy Distant Coder, and today it was brought to my attention that during the remote duel extravaganza, there was a very interesting ruling interaction that was, in my opinion, misruled, and I will explain to you why I believe that it was an incorrect ruling that was given. So, the ruling had to do with Virtual World Lulu, or any of the Virtual World monsters, and specifically their effect that says if this card is in your hand, you can target a Virtual World card you control, and send one Virtual World card of a different type, monster, spell, or trap, from your deck to the graveyard. This is specifically what we're looking at, and this was ruled incorrectly in conjunction with Book of Moon. So basically the interaction that happened was that a virtual world monster, be it Lulu or any other, targeted a virtual world monster on the field, and then Book of Moon was chained, targeting the virtual world monster on the field, and then setting it. And basically what they asked the judges, the players called over the judge, and they asked, will the effect of the virtual world monster that activated in the hand still successfully resolve, sending a card of a different type, and then summoning itself and doing whatever the card itself does after it summons itself. And the judges ruled that because the monster is set by Book of Moon, it is considered a blank, and therefore the virtual world monster in the hand is not successfully able to confirm that it is a monster, and in turn is not able to send a card of a different card type because it's not able to verify that the card on the field is a monster. Now, I'm going to explain to you guys why that is an incorrect ruling. So basically what I'm telling you guys is that if a card like Virtual World Lulu targets a monster on the field, and then Book of Moon is chained targeting that same monster that was targeted by the Lulu, the monster will be set, but the set monster is still considered a monster. Therefore, the Lulu will still successfully be able to send a card of a different card type, so a spell or trap in this case, summon itself, then add a card of the third type. So basically, the reason for this is that a monster, whether it is face up or face down on the field, it is always always, always, always still considered as a monster. It is just a face down monster rather than a face up monster. While face down, it's not considered a virtual world monster, but that doesn't still need to be true when the effect would resolve, because targeting a virtual world card you control is only the activation requirement and is not needed for that to still be true for the effect to resolve. So basically what I want to compare this to another interaction that is a lot simpler and probably will confuse less people and make people better understand this interaction. So I'm comparing Book of Moon to mind control. So basically, say I control a monster. It could be anything. It could be La Jinn, the mystical genie of the lamp, for all I care. If my opponent activates mind control on my La Jinn, and then I chain Book of Moon on my La Jinn gets set. Mind control reads target what monster your opponent controls until the end phase. Take control of that target, but it cannot declare an attack or be tributed. So mind control, first of all, is allowed to target a face down monster and take control of it. So yes, it can still verify that the face down monster is not a blank, it is a monster. As well as if you chain Book of Moon on the monster that Mind Control targeted, Mind Control will still take control of that monster. And why this is interesting is because Mind Control doesn't say take control of it, it says take control of that target. However, that target was not one face up monster, it was simply one monster. So even though the monster gets flipped face down, the game still recognizes that that target is still one monster. So the game still recognizes that the card that is set is still a monster. So in this situation, a card like Lulu, a card like Lao Lao, any of the virtual world monsters that target one of your face down monsters, one of your face up monsters that gets flipped face down, by the effect of Book of Moon, it will not make the virtual world monster in your hand resolve without effect. It will still resolve with its full effect. It will still consider that the monster that it initially targeted is still a monster at the point in which it resolved. Stop recording! Stop the count! Stop the record! MST TV answered. Oh, MST, you're here? Yo, can you hit me up with your Discord? I want to talk to you about a ruling. Hey. What's up, Thomas? How you doing, brother?
Good, I'm good.
Good. I just recorded a video on the virtual world versus Book of Moon ruling thing.
Yes.
And the reason why it was brought to my attention was because I watched the Asala deck profile that you did with him.
So it was ruled, like, we asked all morning about...
Yes.
And in that video, he explains the whole, like, that it was ruled at the extravaganza or something like that, that if you book in chain to the monster, that
yes,
it doesn't send. And you said that you agreed with that. And I kind of want to get your reasoning on that. Because I personally think that it does send.
Because it guarantees it as a monster, because there's no way that it would not be a monster is probably the logic behind
yeah, but
that,
the only other thing that's a little weird, and this is why I want to get your opinion on it, because it is a little bit all up in the air right now. And the reason why I want to get your opinion on it is because we do have an email sent into Konami that was returned, and in the email it says that it doesn't send anything. However, every other precedent should say that it should send it to the grave. So that's why I want to get your opinion on this, because my logic and reasoning for this was, if you compare, like, instead of Lulu or whatever, you replace it with a card like Mind Control. Mind Control says target a monster your opponent controls until the end phase, take control of that target. Even if you book it in chain to Mind Control, even though it says that target is still one monster your opponent controls, so you still take it. So it's still considered a monster while face down.
Consider this. What if you booked a trap monster?
Well, if you book a trap monster, it depends.
What does it become?
It depends what the trap monster would be. That's the thing. Because if it's a trap monster, like a Paleozoic monster that is no longer still considered a trap, if you Book of Moon one of those, it stays in the monster zone and it's still considered a monster.
Yes, but if you say you take an Eldritch monster, a Golden Lord monster,
so if so in that situation, it would get booked and it would go from the monster zone to the spell and trap zone. And in that situation, I'm pretty sure that it would be considered a different card, would it not?
Let me just take a look at this here.
I genuinely have to remind myself on that, but I'm fairly certain that if you Book of Moon it, it would lose its target, just in general.
Card is in your hand. Target one virtual world card you control. Send one virtual world card of a different type, monster, spell, trap, from your deck to the graveyard. And if you do, special summon this card, then add one virtual world card of the third type from your deck to your hand.
Because like my logic and reasoning that I'm thinking about is that there's never a situation in which a card is in the monster zone where it's not a monster, be it face up or face down. As opposed to, like, say, an artifact monster, if you set it in the spell trap zone, like, it'll always be a spell card, or a spell or trap, or whatever. There's never an instance in the game where a monster card can be in the spell trap zone without being considered a spell or trap.
Like, I'm just basing this off of the existing wording, as it does specify target, but then it doesn't exactly say anything. Like, usually whenever something says target, you look at, oh, does it say the target during the resolution? Does it say it during the resolution?
Yeah.
But this one just says you can target one virtual world card you control, send one virtual card of a different card type. Because there is a guaranteed typing. Well, for the event, of course, we did not get to send anything. But
apparently that ruling was specifically given by a floor judge and was not appealed to the head judge. And the head judge says that you should have been able to send. And what's weird is that the first time that I was asked that on DB, I had initially, the first thing that I ruled was, no, you won't send. But like, I hadn't put any thought into it. It was just, oh, he changed Book of Moon. I'm like, oh, you don't send. But the reason why is because I thought virtual world cards checked names, not card types at first, because I hadn't read the cards yet. So I thought it checked names. And I'm like, well, of course, if it checks names, it doesn't. And then I read the card. I'm like, oh, it checks card types. Wait, that's a lot more interesting.
Like, the only thing close would be Book of Mooning a trap monster that's still considered as a trap card. Because then what then? What was it at the time? Can you only send spell and that's it?
Well, that's the thing, is it checks on resolution, so it doesn't check on activation. That's why it's interesting. But like, because a card that is face down in the monster zone can only be a monster. It's all it can be. It can't be anything other than a monster.
But the moment you book it for a trap monster, it goes to the back row.
Yeah, it goes back to the back row. So in that case, it would.
Is your target lost? Is your target lost?
This should be the rule. If the second effect of Galaxy Cyclone is activated, targeting the embodiment of Apophis, treated as a monster, and the Book of Moon is chained to it, the targeted card is destroyed normally. Okay, so it's still considered the same card, so it wouldn't lose its target. So that would be interesting, actually. It wouldn't lose its target, but it wouldn't be able to verify the card type. So it wouldn't lose its target, but it wouldn't be able to verify the card type. So in that case, I think it shouldn't be able to send. In the case where you would return to the spell trap zone, because it can be both a spell or a trap. Oh, we have the email here. Let me just run it through Translate. A, is it correct that you activated the effect of Musume on the field with the effect of, okay. In either case, you have to do the following three things. Send a different type of card to the graveyard, summon this card, send the targeted card and the sent card you sent to the graveyard. Well, that's not exactly what they mean, but more or less. You can add a different type of card from your deck to your hand, except for itself, which is a different from the card. Also, you can only special summon level 3 or higher. According to the reply, if the target is on the reverse side, when processing the effect of 1, you can't send different types of magic and traps in deck to the graveyard. Target is still a monster. Why don't you process that effect? Is it because the target is no longer a virtual world card? If the target card is on the reverse side, regardless of whether it was originally in the monster zone or not, it is assumed that you can't see which type of card it is and the duel will proceed. Therefore, in the situation in question, it will be handled as previously described.
Huh.
Very, very interesting. This really does put it a little bit all in the air. I think my explanation is probably correct. I feel as though you should be able to send, but this does put things all up in the air, kind of.
I seriously think it's because they are able to target different kinds of cards.
So you still think that it shouldn't be able to send?
I would, if I was the head judge on an event, if it's a monster, then I would actually let it send.
You would?
Now,
okay.
with a little bit more logic here, but unless they can confirm that because the cards can target different types of cards.
Yeah, we definitely
if they
definitely
can
need,
solidify that.
Yeah, exactly.
If they can solidify that particular block, just because they can send multiple things. If things go face down, it's not public knowledge anymore. Then you can't confirm the typing.
So basically,
then that I would be like, no, you can't send.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying, and I kind of agree with that, is that as it stands, it should most likely be ruled that you can send until we get some official Konami confirmation, or like a Konami said so type of example that confirms that you can't and gives maybe a reason for it.
I think we got to get some of the judges going into December's extravaganza to pop that question to the head judge and let them give the logic. That will be in in a month?
In a month, yeah. So I think this should be a follow-up video in a month. That should maybe be a good idea. So that is the ruling for you guys. I hope that this demystifies a lot of incorrect rulings that were maybe given at the Remote Duel Extravaganza or at any other sort of event at your locals, Remote Duel locals, and stuff like that. So I hope that now you have a better understanding of how the virtual world cards work and why Book of Moon doesn't like necessarily stop virtual world in their tracks and stuff like that, and that it might not be the best side deck card or main deck card to play against virtual world. So I hope that this helps you better understand this interaction. Hope you guys learned something new, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a good one, guys. Peace out, y'all. Bye! That's cringe. I'm not doing bye ever again like that.